Am I the only guest so far to not just be on one time, to not just be on 2 times, but to be on 3 times? Ladies and gentlemen, to all the fans out there of Games with Names, your favorite is back, Robby G, the Dominator.
The Dominator's back.
The champ is back, baby.
The Dominator also had 3 touchdowns in this game.
And that is why we picked this game.
And on today's episode, we are covering the 2011 AFC Divisional Round game between the Tim Tebow-led Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots.
Tebowmania was coming into our house, and we wanted to shut that down. We absolutely ruined Tebowmania's career.
And we all know Tom Brady's the real Jesus Christ here.
Yes, exactly.
How about that night? That was a fun night. Did you see Coach Belichick?
I think Coach Belichick may be my new favorite person ever since the roast. And if he just showed that personality at all while he was a head coach, I still think we would be playing for the New England Patriots and winning Super Bowls.
Did you see Coach Belichick's date?
Yes. I sure did.
What's your favorite Tom memory? Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio.
You're a little slow right now, Jules. Me too, so it's okay. We're on the same page as always.
January 14th, 2012, Gillette Stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Tim Tebow's Broncos are walking on water, fresh off their mile-high miracle.
But even God himself couldn't stop Bill Belichick's Patriots.
This is the 2011 AFC Divisional Round. That was a good one, man. That might have been our best one.
And welcome to Games with Names. I'm Julian Edelman. That's Jack and Kyler, and we're on a mission to find the greatest game of all time. We're back in Boston, baby. We're coming from the Games with Names headquarters, East Coast operation.
East Coast Nuthouse.
East Coast Nuthouse. And we're doing a different kind of episode today. You know, as you guys just heard, there's someone who snuck into this eastbound or East Coast nut house, and he just wandered his way up into the studio. We have Roberto Yo Soy Fiesta.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me here at the East Coast headquarters. East Coast, the best coast as well. I'm an East Coast guy. I was born in Buffalo, New York. No, that's not New York, New York, and it's not even close to New York, New York. It's about 8 hours away if you drive. And then
On Lake Erie.
Yes, on Lake Erie.
On Lake
Erie. Right near Lake Erie, the dirtiest waters of all time. You do not go swimming in that lake.
You don't?
No, you don't. I mean, it's sad. It's disappointing. I feel like America has ruined our waters, our ocean waters, and our lakes as well. Too much pollution. I'm a big water guy. It's disappointing when I go to the ocean and it's dark brown and you really can't enjoy the water how you want to enjoy the water. I'm a guy that loves to be in the Bahamas and you go in that crystal clear
Here's the water.
Blue water.
Just want to give you water.
Yeah, there we go. See, this is
talking
fresh
about this
water right
I wanna
here.
give you
Thank
some
you.
water, Rob.
Thank you. But back to the East Coast. I played here in New England, East Coast, played here in Tampa, East Coast. My mom lives in Florida. My dad and brother live in Buffalo. I'm still on the East Coast. I got places all over on the East Coast. I'm an East Coast guy. I do like the West Coast, but that's why I'm here today, because I'm at the headquarters. Let's go.
Well, Buffalo's East Coast of Lake Erie, so you're like double East Coast.
Yeah. Triple East Coast, actually, because just am.
Rob, why do you have a pillow on your lap?
Because I went to sit on this chair and this California Republic pillow was right there. So
you
I just put it on my lap.
You want me to take it?
Sure.
I got you.
What game are you doing here today?
And on today's episode, we are covering the 2011 AFC Divisional Round game between the Denver Broncos, the Tim Tebow-led Denver Broncos, and the New England Patriots. And why do we pick this game?
We picked this game. Well, I'll give my opinion on why we picked this game, because we already did games with names. We did the Super Bowl 49 versus Seattle Seahawks, and then we did the game where we threw him out of the club versus
Threw him out.
Indianapolis
Threw him out of the
Colts.
club.
So now we're here for the triple banger, ladies and gentlemen. Am I the only guest so far to not just be on one time, to not just be on 2 times, but to be on 3 times? Ladies and gentlemen, to all the fans out there of Games with Names, your favorite is back, Robby G, the Dominator.
The Dominator is back, baby. The Dominator's back. The Dominator also had 3 touchdowns in this game.
And that is why we picked this game. Because 3rd time's always a charm.
Always.
Is this the greatest game of all time?
It may be the greatest game of all time when the New England Patriots were facing the Denver Broncos, but it's not the greatest game of all time, just overall. We absolutely dismantled the Denver Broncos. There's no doubt about that. I know Tebowmania was going absolutely wild this whole entire year, and we shut that down, not just in the regular season that year, but we really shut that down in the playoffs.
We really did. We really did. So how's your summer been? What have you been up to?
My summer's been pretty good. I've been up here. I got my place in the Boston area still, you know, the house I grew up in, and went to work every day at Gillette Stadium. So it was just wonderful to keep my place, because everyone was in town last week and they were all staying at hotels. They're staying at the Renaissance at Patriot Place. They're staying at Home to Suites at Patriot Place, the Hilton. And I got to just go home in my own bed while everyone else was staying in those hotels here for the Brady ceremony. So it just felt good to just feel like it just felt good to have that feeling of just being home for that ceremony.
I didn't stay in the hotel. I came to my home.
Well, you're in the same situation. You have your home as
It's
well.
just a
here in
little further,
Boston.
though. Yours is literally right there.
It literally is right there. And you used to live right there too, Jules.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We used to live right next to each other, and we wouldn't. Rob, Dane, Rusty Benson, Nico Kudavides would throw pranks on me.
Yeah, the biggest prank Nico Kudavides, I think, did on you was the golf club prank, where he took all your clubs and he spread them out throughout the front yard and he made you pick them up. And then I think when you were picking them up, he drove by again and started yelling shit at you.
Is that even a prank?
That's not a prank. It's an asshole thing to do.
Yeah, it was kind of messed up. It was
My
messed
bag
up.
was in the tree.
Yes.
Like
It was effed up. It really
and it
was.
rained or something, so my grips are all fucked up. I'm not a golfer. I really didn't care. But there was another time where I go and I knock on, or someone knocks on my door, and I open the door, and out of nowhere, I get slammed in the face because it was dark with a water balloon. It had to have been. I see the car drive off. Who was it? It was Rusty.
Rusty Benson literally threw it. It was a 1 in a million chance that it would ever hit you. You barely cracked open the back door. I remember that. Like you kind of like stuck your nose out of the crack, and the balloon literally went right through that crack. I mean, I'm talking it couldn't have been repeated ever again.
No.
And it just smoked you right in the face.
So I start yelling in the house because Slater's upstairs. He comes down. What's going on, Joker? I'm like, turn all the lights off. Turn all the lights off. We got a breaking and entering. We have a breaking and entering. And Slate's like, oh my God, we got breaking and entering. It was just that was fucking crazy.
Just mayhem.
What's the off-season routine looking like right now?
So right now, it's kind of slow, which is nice. I was actually just in New York City because Camille was on the cover of Maxim last month.
Go.
So they threw her a party up in New York City at a place called T Squared. And that's the way I love the party, man. T Squared is a spot where they have
a lot of activities.
And I love the party with activities. And the activities there at T Squared is that they have the simulators, and they're very high-end simulators. They have golf, they have basketball, they have soccer, they have boxing. They basically have every sport known to man on these simulators. I would say the best one to play, though, is definitely the golf game. I mean, I feel like that's the most real. It has the best simulations. But just overall, just what a blast it was. And what was really cool about it too is she had about 6 or 7 other cheerleaders come that cheered for us back in the day, Jules. So it was just really cool just to have the gang back together. Just Camille and all the cheerleaders and myself.
Oh my God.
Thanks, babe, for throwing a great party. And thank you to Maxim for hosting us and paying for the whole party as well.
Woo-hoo. Congratulations.
Shout out Maxim.
Maxim,
yes.
cover.
T-Square.
Yes, congrats.
Camille.
And yeah, that's what I was up to, man. Just been chilling here in Foxborough. Just get a couple workouts. I've actually been playing a lot of basketball lately. Yeah. I got away from the working out, like lifting. I just wanted to try something new. And I feel like this basketball, I've been doing drills for about an hour every single day. Today was actually an off day. I was really busy.
What's the drills?
Just packing. I just love to do dribbling drills. It just works on my hand-eye coordination. It kind of relieves stress. If I have any stress or anxiety at the moment, I just love to go outside and just dribble because that's just makes you focus on that situation right there. You're just in the current while you're dribbling. And then I do shooting drills as well. I take about 100 to 150 shots a day, maybe up to, around 200 shots as well, depending on how much time I have. And you feel good after, you feel loose, you feel agile after you play basketball, after you do all the dribbling drills, and you feel connected as well because all the coordination that you got to use, throughout the game of basketball, throughout practicing it, just takes your, coordination to another level. So
are you
just doing it for fun?
Are you
just
getting wet out there? Are you,
I have a nice jumper.
People don't realize we had a team like bonding event thing where we had like a basketball shootout with the whole team. Mr. Yosoi Fiesta, Rob won it.
Mm-hmm.
He could shoot. Hey, you ever see this Big Three?
I actually played in the Big Three celebrity game last year.
How'd you do?
Yes, it was about a year and a half ago, about 2 years ago. It was somewhere around then. So the Big Three championship game was in Atlanta, and they have the celebrity game right before. So it's 3-on-3, and I did pretty decent. I had a couple highlights where they put me on all the Instagram reels. I had about 3 highlights, like all the basketball Instagram reels. I don't really know the exact names of them, but it was pretty cool, like Hoop Dreamers, all that type of stuff. And I had like going up, bringing it down, putting it up on the other side of the hoop, whatever that's called. It just looked nice.
Reverse layup.
What
the reverse, like the little reverse
type layup. I had a couple air balls that they didn't show because they just wanted to make me look good. So I appreciate you guys out there.
Big shout out, Big Three.
And then a couple other layups that look pretty legit as well. But just overall, man, basketball, you got to be in serious shape.
You do.
Man. You really do.
What was your game like back at old Woodland Hills High there in PA?
All right. So I grew up in Buffalo, New York. So I played basketball there all the way through my junior year. And then obviously I played football, basketball, baseball when I moved to Pittsburgh at Woody High. But my favorite sport growing up was definitely basketball and definitely playing basketball at the school in Buffalo. We had a student section called the Green Squall. The Green Squall. Yeah, not the Green Squad, the Green Squall. And it was led by a guy named RJ Zurich, who was just a fanatic. He was just a fan fanatic. And he just loves sports, loves following football, basketball, baseball. And he just got everyone together and throughout the school and just brought everyone to the student sections. And they were just super loud the whole entire game and just went absolutely berserk every game as well. And it was just so cool just to run out of the tunnel to bring them out. It's hard to yell when they bell rails in your mouth. Bump, 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 bump. And then we would run out of the tunnel. The crowd would be going crazy.
Are you dunking everywhere?
I'm dunking everywhere. When I get a dunk as well in high school, it was the coolest feeling of all time. It was like better than scoring a touchdown when you dunked in high school. So those were the best memories of my high school days, I would say, playing basketball in Buffalo, New York at Williamsville North High School.
Did you get any recruiting?
Not really. Everyone knew I was playing football because I was a football player on the basketball court.
Yep.
Let me tell you now, like I said, I'm learning how to dribble now. Mm-hmm. Back then, I couldn't dribble. I never took the ball up. I never had the ball behind a three-point arc, never made a three-pointer besides one time in my whole entire career, and it was a half-court shot with 1 second left, and it banked off the backboard and went in, and I started going crazy. That was at Clarence High School. But I was just a football player that was a big man down low, just terrorizing fools, just starting brawls, throwing elbows, just guys trying to take me out, just grabbing rebounds. And I was averaging about 22 points a game, and all 22 points were in the paint or at the free throw line. And I was a maniac. People loved watching me go out there and just play because I was just a different breed. I was playing football on the basketball court.
So dope.
Actually, and we're still talking about, there was sometimes it was getting so intense. There had to be police officers at some of my games because I was getting threatened by the parents because it was getting that out of control. I was talking garbage. I was talking shit to the parents as well in the stands. Like, it was getting that intense at times. And it was a lot of fun. I would not change a thing in those situations. It was nuts. It was good times.
So offseason consists of about 2-3 hours of basketball, dribbling drills.
I'm a lot better now at dribbling than I was in high school. And it's kind of disappointing, but it's not, because you live and learn. You don't know everything when you're that age, when you're in high school, when you're that young, even though you think you know everything. I could have been such a better basketball player, but I never worked on my game one time in my life. I would play football, and then I would go to basketball tryouts, just go to basketball practices, never work on dribbling, just go through all the drills or whatever, just be a big man. And then I would go home, and then after the basketball season, never touch a basketball again until the following year, because then I would go right to baseball. But I wouldn't touch a baseball again until baseball season started to back up. The only thing I would touch kind of year round was a football, because I always knew I wanted to be in the NFL. That was my true dream. Even though basketball was more fun in high school, my true dream and just my true knowledge, I always knew, and just how my body was and how I felt like I fit in sports, was that I belonged on the football field, and I sure made the right decision.
Now, does this same energy come along with your field goal kicking? Have you been practicing that, doing drills for that?
I actually practice a lot for the field goal kicking. I missed both of my kick of destinies. Both kicks were legit, though.
Yeah,
my
very
first
good
one,
contact.
let me tell you, great contact. I had to aim it to the right a little bit, but there was 50-mile-per-hour winds.
50.
And yes, 50. We're in the mountains in Arizona. 50-mile-per-hour winds.
5-0.
And it just took the ball and it just sat it left. And it was a big controversy because everyone thought it went in, but because of the angle of the camera that was on TV. But it was a tad bit left. It looked like, Buffalo Bills back in the day. Wide left, wide right. I'm from Buffalo, so, I had to go wide left.
Scott Norwood.
Yeah. That's just what we do.
We got to get you on
Buffalo.
We got to get you on a training. Don't you have another one coming up? Another kick?
There's no kick in place
No
right
kick
now.
I thought we had a kick.
We're hoping for kick of destiny number 3.
Oh,
There's no doubt about
we got to get
that.
a training regimen. We got to get something going.
And I love training for it. It gave me something to do. Like I said, I love activities, and it was an activity. It was a kicking activity.
Now, everyone over here is probably sitting back like, oh, Gronk's just practicing. He's got Gronk has the craziest schedule. This is like his downtime. He just likes to do like nothing, and he does his little basketball, this, that. I mean, Gronk has to go to New York. You always have all these crazy events. It's pretty nuts just to know and see your schedule, how it still goes. But then when you have nothing to do, you just really want to do nothing and practice the things that you're interested in, you love.
Yes, that is correct, actually. You hit that right on the money. When I don't have anything to do, people are like, don't you get bored if you're just chilling at home? I really don't get bored anymore. I used to get bored like crazy back in the day when I was young 20s, 23 years old, 24 years old. Like, I couldn't sit down on the couch for 4 hours at a time. Like, it was impossible. I had to be going to a Celtics game or calling you up, playing ping pong. And now sitting on the couch is one of the best things of all time. It kind of like rejuvenates you, regenerates you, just humbles you a little bit. It kind of gives you your energy that you need for the next day as well. It just overall just replenishes you. So I love to do it. Don't really get bored anymore. As you get older, you get wiser, you get smarter. And but my schedule wise, so whenever I have a chance, I just love to do what I truly love to do, and that's just play sports, do activities, dribble the basketball, watch some movies, not talk to anyone for about 24 hours because then I'm going to hit it again when I hit the road. Go on a spree, freaking shoot 3 commercials in a row, go do 5 appearances in a row.
Do a Tom Brady event in a row.
Yes. Do another Tom Brady event and take it over and let Tom make all the money.
Sounds like our
We're
career.
just messing, Tom. We're just messing around, Tom. We love you.
We love you.
Without you having your events, Tom, we wouldn't be where we are anymore.
Without a doubt.
Because we get the recognition at your events. So thank you, Tom. Keep taking all the money and keep giving us the recognition, though.
How about that night? That was a fun night.
Oh, what a night, man.
What a night.
What a freaking night, man.
Tom Brady night at the Patriots. I think it was June 12th, 2024. Everything had a meeting. It was pretty cool to just have a bunch of guys that we went and competed with in the same area for Tom. Like, it was really cool because we had so many different teams. A lot of the guys were there from different generations of the Patriots, the guys that we heard about when we were playing, to the guys that we played with, to the guys after us. I mean, it was just a fun night to celebrate the GOAT, you know, and I was in the show. I was like watching the show, and, you know, Tom, he's just a genuine dude. Like, everything he said and everything he practices or he preaches about, he practices. Like, he's really that kind of guy, and people are going to get to see that when he gets to go out and broadcast now and see what kind of guy he really is. I'm really excited, and it was a great night.
I want to hit on what you just said again, because you really don't see that anymore in this generation. He really practices what he preaches. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about Tom Brady being Tom Brady. What he puts out there, what he preaches, he practices it.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that. There's a lot of people out there on social media or at a lecture. They're, you know, reminiscing about this is what you got to do to be great. This is what you got to do to be successful. Well, Tom Brady does what he says on a daily basis.
Daily basis.
There's no doubt about that. He takes care of his body on a daily basis. He takes care of his mind on a daily basis. He competes on a daily basis, and that's what makes him so great as well.
And he's like the ultimate family guy.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean? On a daily basis.
No Peter Griffin.
Yes.
No Peter Griffin.
But we were all up in there, thankful to be brought Jules as a guest of honor. But I got a twofold question here. What was each of y'all's favorite part of the night that wasn't seen on the live stream? Not up on stage, something else, backstage, cool moment, favorite person you saw, something like that.
My favorite part was just having our little table. It was me, Gronk, Danny, Camille, you guys, and just like the little chatter that we would give during the speeches or something, you know, like the heckle here that we all knew about. It was like an inside joke of some sort. The chirps, and just seeing everyone, like, you know, Scott Pioli was pretty cool. I never really got to meet him. You know, you knew so much about a lot of these guys because of the stories and the coaching, just the coaching examples of, you'd hear like, oh, this is what this coach did, this. Well, we got to meet all those guys. It was really cool. That's my favorite.
How many ex-players do you think were there?
Oh, my God.
Oh, we have an Excel sheet.
It was
Sent to
deep.
us. There's a lot. 50, 60?
No, more than that, man. I feel like there had to at least be like 100.
I made an awful joke when we walked into Kyler that, like, if a meteor hit Gillette Stadium that day, the entire Patriots organization from start to finish is wiped out. Like, everyone was there. Everyone.
I saw Stanley Morgan.
Crazy.
Yeah, Stanley Morgan came up to me.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've ever got to meet him.
Same.
And the first time I've ever talked to him was when I beat his touchdown record. I think he had 79 touchdown records. He held the most touchdowns in Patriot history. I think I beat it when I was playing a game in Pittsburgh versus the Steelers. And then the next day, Stacey James put him on the phone, and Stanley Morgan congratulated me for beating his touchdown record
Yeah.
for most touchdowns by a Patriot. So that was really cool to meet him in person. And we had a great conversation. And I thanked him for setting that record. And he said, hey, man, not a problem. Records are meant to be broken. Congratulations, Gronk. And we just hit it off, man. What a great dude.
Also, that Randy standing O was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment.
And Randy Moss deserved that standing ovation. It was great to see how emotional he got as well. He had a couple tears coming down from his eyes. I mean, just think about what he did in his first season here as a New England Patriot. I swear, Tom Brady will always be Tom Brady, but Randy Moss made Tom Brady like untouchable. I feel like, you know what I mean by that?
That was the first air raid offense,
Yes.
era.
Yeah.
He took Brady to a whole next level. Same with Wes Walker. That duo right there in 07, 08, 09, they just took Brady to a whole nother level. They were scoring like no one's ever scored before in the NFL. And just the way they're airing out the ball as well. And then just, shoving that dink and dunk pass to Welker underneath as well. It was unstoppable.
It really was. And it's pretty much what the league looks like now.
Mm-hmm.
Just the air raid offense, and then also with you coming in 2010, and really redefining and putting like a exclamation point on the tight end. It was already getting there with Tony Gonzalez and the Shockies of the world, but then Gronk, and then our other one that we can't always really say, Hernandez.
I know it's so sad, actually. It's disappointing because he was such a valuable. I'll just hit on it real quick because he was a valuable piece of our organization at the very beginning. So it's kind of hard to just blank him out.
It's hard.
It's hard to blank him out. I mean, this game has Hernandez in it, and he rushed the ball as a tight end 5 times in this playoff game that we're going to be talking about for 61 yards as a tight end.
First drive, he had like a 30-yarder.
Making guys miss, hitting the hole like a running back. It was crazy.
Yes.
And what people don't really realize about, they always ask, oh, what was it like with Aaron and this and that? I mean, he was a stud for a reason. That guy practiced his ass off. He knew, he was an asshole about knowing everything, but he knew everything. He would digest all of his content or all his info and stuff, and he knew what was going to be called before the play was going to be called because he studied hard. He worked hard. He'd be on punt team when he was, making $30 million just to try to pit. He was kind of an asshole in there, but he was doing that to make other guys better. Yeah, we all heard the stories and stuff, but the guy worked his dick off and he was really good.
And one of the smartest football players I've ever been around. I mean,
Without a
talking, I didn't really play my rookie year, my first 8 games. I was sporadically put in for about 15 to 20 plays for about the first 8 games because I really couldn't get a grasp of the playbook. And that kid, I'm telling you, within the first 2 weeks of OTAs as a rookie, he knew the whole entire playbook, the X position, the Y position, and the Z position, and the F position, because he was lined up all over the field. And he knew it like back of his hand after 2 weeks. It was incredible.
It was. We don't condone anything that happened with everything. We're just talking straight as a football player. I mean, he worked hard. Yeah, he was kind of weird and did all these things, but he was he knew everything about everything. You could tell he studied. You could tell he was watching all the film, and it was crazy. Did you see Coach Belichick?
I did not see Coach Belichick at the ceremony. I saw him on stage, obviously, deliver his speech. He did a great job. I think Coach Belichick may be my new favorite person ever since the roast. Ever since he also got roasted out of the head coaching job as well. And I feel like that guy can just take a punch, man. And he can throw a punch as well.
He can
man.
throw it.
He can throw a serious punch. Well, that's because he was throwing serious haymakers throughout his whole career as a head coach anyways. And then we finally got to throw some punches back at him at the roast. But man, that guy, man, his personality is great outside of football. And he turned into my new favorite person at the roast, just the way he presented himself. And if he just showed that personality at all while he was a head coach, I still think we would be playing for the New England Patriots and winning Super Bowls. If he just showed 5% of what he has been showing over the last month, man, we would have 10 Super Bowls with New England.
My favorite thing about his speech to Brady was not that he was just talking about Brady being the greatest player of all time. It wasn't that. It was that Brady was the football player who sucked the least.
Made the fewest amount of mistakes. Yeah. That was something.
Well, I would also give some credit to Coach Belichick for that as well, because that's what Coach Belichick engraved into us as players. He said, you can't win in the NFL
You keep from losing.
before you keep from losing. So you can't beat yourself down or else you're never going to win. And Coach Belichick just harped on us about that. And he engraved that into Tom. And that's also a part of the reason what made Tom so great is he made the least, bad mistakes out there. There's no doubt. And everyone just as a team overall, a player individually, I would say, didn't make those mistakes because of Coach just harping on us every week, week in and week out.
What's your favorite Tom memory?
My favorite Tom memory, man, I'll always remember the time when I first met him in the locker room. You brought it up during your speech. He just came up to me. I was getting my ankle taped by Jimbo, the great Jim Wallen. Right, Jim Wallen? Wallen. It's been a while, Jim, man. I just called you Jimbo for so long. I'm forgetting your last name a little bit.
No, you got it.
All right,
You
good.
got it.
I got it, though. And he was taping my ankles, and Tom just came cruising by. I was just a good old rookie, and he just walked up to me, and he goes, hey, I'm Tom Brady. And I go, very nice to meet you, Tom Brady. I'm Rob Gronkowski. And then he's like, let's get after it this year. And then he walked away, and I just was like, shook. I was like, man, Tom Brady just came up to me and introduced himself as Tom Brady. Like, of course, I know who you are, Tom Brady's. But that was just one of the coolest moments I would remember, for the rest of my life. And we just, got to work from there on out. And he was all business right from the beginning. He really was. Like we said, what he puts on, his persona, what he shows,
That's
he
what he
truly
is.
believes in. And he was all business 24/7 when he was in that building.
What was your favorite moment too while we're at it?
My favorite moments were the ones where like we'd be throwing routes or something, and like he would yell at me or something. Like I remember my rookie year, we put in a 4-wide personnel group the first day of rookie or the first day of veteran camp, and so it was me, Wes, Joey Galloway, and Randy, and we put it in there, and I was the Y, and I did the right thing. And I ended up dropping the ball. And he starts just yelling at me. Jules, what the? And I like, oh, snap. And then as soon as we got in the locker room, he came up to me. He goes, hey, if I yell at you, that means I like you. And I was like, well, you must really love me then, bro. That was kind of like those moments where, he was getting on you. That's the stuff you remember you like, or, the stuff when we'd be training out and thrown on a field or something. Those are always the great memories that you'll remember. Yeah, it's the big plays of that and the other. But I think it's the behind the scenes stuff was my favorite.
I would have to agree with you, man. If he gets on you, he sees potential in you. And that's why he got on your ass all the time. He got on my ass all the time my rookie year. I didn't really like him my rookie year. I mean, he was just getting on my case just nonstop. And it was kind of mind fucking me so much that I couldn't be myself out there sometimes. I couldn't run the right route because I was just thinking so much, because there was just so much on the plate at first. I got a coach telling me to do this. I got Tom telling me to do this. And then finally, you just figure it out and it all clicks. It took me about halfway through my rookie year. And then obviously going in my second year, it clicked to a whole nother level. I mean, we went for 21 touchdowns total, including the playoffs. But just my rookie year, he was on my case. I remember I ran a flag route and I ran inside the guy instead of getting outside of him. And he flipped out on me in the meeting after the practice and told me he's never going to throw me the ball again. And like, I got butthurt, and LG Crumpler saw it too. And then he just tapped on my thigh and he was like, yo, Gronk, don't worry about that. Tom's just being Tom, man. Just don't worry about keep doing you. And then it kind of like, put a fire under your ass though. And that's what Tom was so great at doing. I didn't really realize that's what he was doing either. Like he was just trying to get the best out of you. And it kind of lit a fire under my ass. And then I just wanted to prove Tom wrong. Like, all right, I'm going to run this flag route every time now. And you're never going to throw me the ball, but I'm going to be open by 5 yards. And you're going to look like the idiot now. And that happened. And then he threw me the ball about 600 more times from there on out.
So that was also, that example is an example of why Tom was Tom, because he knew what kind of guy each guy was. Like, he could challenge Rob. He could challenge me because we retaliated to that challenging, like, in a whole nother, like, that was the way it got us going. Other guys he didn't do that with, and he would do it in a different way. Then that's the sign of a good leader, is when someone knows what to get out of the guys and how to get it out of them.
And I've seen this before. Coach Belichick and Tom challenging wide receivers, and they don't step up to the plate after the challenge. And let me tell you, those wide receivers or tight ends were gone the next week. So, hey, if you don't step up to the challenge, you're gone. That's why I love football. That's why I love sports, because there ain't no politics here, buddy. It's either you got it or you don't.
Swink or swim. Sink or swim.
Sink or swim.
Did you see Coach Belichick's date?
Yes. I sure did. I sure did. All right, Julian. I mean, he's dating a 24-year-old, good-looking 24-year-old. He always told us there's 3 things out there that don't get caught up in. What were the 3 things? What was the trifecta, Julian? Can you please explain the trifecta?
Trifecta would be Mr. Gronk. Would it be alcohol one?
Alcohol was one, and Coach Belichick did not partake in alcohol. I can tell you that.
2, is it assholes?
Asshole is number 2, and I would say Coach Belichick did partake in being an asshole at some times, but not anymore. I love him now. He's my favorite. Not anymore, though. Yeah. Well, maybe to Amendola he was at the roast, which was the greatest thing I've seen in a while, though. But Dola deserved it too, even though Dola was like, "Why did he say that about me?" Well, Dola, I mean, you've been talking garbage for the last year. All right, what's number 3?
Number 3, is that girls?
Yeah, girls. Yeah,
girls.
That's the proper way to put it. Girls. And now he's all caught up with the girls. We love you, Coach. We love you. Wait, time out. He's not coaching anymore, though. So
maybe he can be in the trifecta.
Maybe he's allowed to be in the trifecta.
He's allowed to be in the trifecta.
Watch out. He's going to be blacked out, hammered every night now.
He's really putting to rest all those rumors. Oh, he's too old. He can't connect with the younger generation. Yeah, he's like, watch me.
Watch me. You don't think I can coach a 22-year-old anymore? Watch me. I'm going to show him. I'm going to pull all those girls that they can't pull. And then they're going to listen to me now. I'm going to come back next year. Tell all these young bucks.
Oh
my gosh.
Hey, you better listen to me. I'm on the streets now. I know what's going on.
Could you imagine?
I'm back.
Can you imagine Belichick in the streets? Man. How about half of everyone being in roast mode that was at Brady night last night? We were just in roast mode from, like, how we were roasting everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Like.
When? Last night?
2 nights ago. Or
2 nights ago. Where? At the
Tom Brady event.
Ceremony?
Remember we were like, everyone's in roast mode?
Oh, yeah. Everyone was in roast mode. We kind of wanted that mode again. I mean, that mode was exciting. It was fun.
What is roast mode? Can you explain to people what roast mode is?
Roast mode is just... You're just on your toes. You're just excited at all times, and you're ready just to fire back at all times.
You're firing jokes off at everyone.
Yes, and you're just ready to go because you just never know what's going to happen. And something serious is going to happen like within every 5 minutes.
How about that roast night? That was a fun night, too.
It was one of the best nights of my life. I've been telling a couple people that it might be better than the Super Bowls.
Why is it better than the Super Bowls?
Because it was 3 hours, just like a Super Bowl game. And we didn't get hit for those 3 hours, and it was just as exciting.
It was.
Well, you guys took some hits.
Oh, yeah, we took some different hits.
Delivered some
mental
big blows,
hits.
though.
Yes.
Delivered blows.
Can you talk us through your joke writing process?
All right, I'll go through my joke writing process. So I actually have a friend named Nate Dogg. He's been my lifelong friend since we both come out of the womb. We lived on the same street growing up. We've known each other since like literally 1 month year old. How do you say that when you're 1 month year old?
Less than one.
Oh, less than one. We were 1 month. And we were best friends since. And maniac, funny guy. always on point. I told them I'm doing the roast. I was like, these are the people that are going to be at the roast. So I was like, whenever you're feeling it, whenever you got some time off, just throw me some jokes. So, then on that, I'll get back to that. And then on top of it, you got all the people that were the writers for the roast as well.
From the roast.
That were ex-comedians that are roasters as well. You had Jeffrey Ross on the phone call as well. You get on the call. They ask you if you got any, material. They ask you if there's any situations you've ever been in that they can create jokes for. You tell them a couple stories, how close you are with the other guys that are going to be on the panel. And then they came back to me about 5 days later and had a list of jokes as well. And I read a couple of them. I switched them up a little bit. There were some that were spot on. I was like, yo, you guys hit that spot on. I'm just going to keep it as clean as it is right there. And then also in that meantime, I wrote about 5 of my own jokes as well. And then I gave them those 5 jokes. And then my friend, Nate Dogg, gave me his 10 jokes. I sent in those 10 jokes. So then the 5 jokes I sent in, the 10 jokes Nate Dogg sent in, and then the 15 jokes that the writers all came up with, we put them all on the table. I read through them, the way I was pronouncing everything. We had a couple 30-minute sessions where I was going over the jokes. They were seeing how it was coming off, and then did about 2 or 3 of those practices. And then they came back a day before the event, and they go, here's the final script. And the final script just was, everything was in order, how, the Julian's jokes all right there, all Tom's jokes all categorized. And then, boom, I loved it,
But I was reading the teleprompter, and because you could sit there, and I was infatuated with the teleprompter and who was using it, who wasn't. And so Rob, he was doing a couple of the teleprompter jokes, and you went full rogue. You went full rogue and just started going off the crowd, and like half of it wasn't. You just Robby G'd it.
Absolutely nuts.
Well,
you almost blew the roof off the place.
Jack, I did blow the roof off the place.
You did. What am I talking about? This almost stuff.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Always. But here we go. So I went off script a few times because, like I said, it was like a Super Bowl moment. Like I felt like I wasn't even inside my body once I got up there. First off, I finished a bottle of tequila. I haven't been drunk like that in quite some time. And tequila is like an upper. So you were next to me, Julian, that bottle that was underneath my legs when we sat down. Kevin Hart had like a third of it, which is impressive. He's like 2 inches tall. And like he finished a third of the bottle with myself, and he can completely, compose himself. Like he's an animal. You think he's sober when he's drunk, and like the guy can handle anything. And then he's funny, sober or drunk anyways. And then you finished the bottle with me. Then the bottle girls were bringing drinks to us as well. So when I got up there, I was ham, dude. Like that tequila went, like it amped me up when I stood up on stage. And then I just started firing off the jokes. And then when the final script came in, I was kind of disappointed. There were some of the jokes that were left off. And they were like, hey, everyone only has 5 to 6 minutes, so we can't do every single joke. So everyone had jokes left off their script. But when I got going, I saw some opportunities present to where the jokes that got left off script were ready to be fired. And I fired those jokes off. And plus, I was getting ripped on as well, so I had to stand up for myself as well. So that's how I went rogue.
He went rogue, and it was great. And then he ends it and finishes it with the Gronk spike, which a chef's kiss, a mic drop.
Were you planning on that, or was that
just happened?
No. They planned on it. The writers planned on it. It was in the script. It was in parentheses at the end. Gronk spike shot glass. So I had to do it. And right when I did it, I knew it was a great idea. And then right when I did it and I saw the glass explode everywhere, I said, oh shit, that was the worst idea. I mean, I would have Gronk spiked it like into the podium so it like wouldn't go all over the place. It was kind of dangerous. We are lucky and blessed that no one got hurt in that situation. There was a lot of people in the front row that could have led to, a dangerous path where someone could have seriously gotten hurt. And we're lucky no one did because, the party gods are always on my favor, are always on my side when I'm partying. Nothing ever wrong goes happen because I'm partying for the good of people. So God's there to make sure that no one gets hurt when I do something dumb because it's for the people.
It's for the people.
Shout out to the party gods, baby. Smiling down upon you.
Man, this has been the off season of Tommy. So many events.
Yeah. And it's because it's his first time.
Second,
off.
is his second year?
No. He's going into his second year
Yeah,
retired.
going to second.
Yeah, he's going into his
What
second year.
moment are they going to use for his 12-foot statue in front of Foxborough?
They're going to probably use my third leg. To hold that statue up.
It'll probably be the Lex Go one.
Yeah, let's go statue.
Yeah, it'll be that one. I don't know.
What about the trophy one where he's like this?
Oh, backwards hat?
Backwards hat,
Oh,
like-
man. I was wondering helmet on or off if they were.
Do you think Tom?
Or maybe his combine picture. That's a statue right there.
That would rock.
Inspo.
Inspo, cotton
Inspo.
shorts and all.
When do you think they're going to reveal the statue? Halftime of a game, before a game,
I don't know.
end of August?
Maybe
Are they going to have their own ceremony? Fill out the stadium against 65,000 just to reveal a statue. What's going to happen?
They'll have an event to reveal the statue, the rendering, then an event to reveal the real statue. I mean, Jesus. How many events can we have?
Only Tom can do that.
Amen.
Only Tom.
he is greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He is the greatest of all time now.
He's the only one who can do that.
Amen, brother.
Literally. And then now getting back to this game, it just thought to me, we all, Tebow, let's go back to this segment. Let's go back to around January 14th, 2012. Some of the pop culture things going on. Number one movie, Contraband. Was that with Mark Wahlberg?
That was Wahlberg.
Oh, Wahlberg. That was pretty good. Number
Kate
one.
Beckinsale.
Huh?
Kate Beckinsale was in it.
Yeah. That
Sort of forgettable, but
number one song was Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO.
party rocking.
That was an era that I remember Gronk thrived in.
I did
Yes.
thrive in that era. There's no doubt about that. LMFAO was my favorite band of all time. There is absolutely no arguing that. They had Party Rock. That was the best song possible.
Didn't you go on tour with them or something?
Basically, everywhere they were going and I was around them, I would find my way on stage and then just absolutely go mayhem. I've been on ESPN a few times with LMFAO. Just me jumping up and down. I accidentally kicked my brother right in his gonads, and then I gave him the Stone Cold Stunner on stage in Vegas with LMFAO performing right behind us. The song Party Rock,
What a time.
by the way. What else? They had Shuffling as well. They just had all the best songs just to go absolutely
Crazy.
crazy, just to the max level. Like they would just get you going no matter what. They were the best.
Yeah, they were. Around this time, the AFC beats the NFC in the Pro Bowl. Brandon Marshall was named MVP.
game.
Brandon Marshall.
We did that
did
game,
it.
so we wanted to give him a
Shout out,
little shout
Brandon.
out, Brandon Marshall.
Shout out to Brandon Marshall. I actually never been to a Pro Bowl. I made about
wondering.
5-6 Pro Bowls in my life. I just never been to the actual Pro Bowl because we were always going to Super Bowls, baby.
In the sporting world, college football national champion, Alabama, of course. Heisman Trophy winner, Robert Griffin III,
RG3.
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 Super Bowl champs were the NFL MVP was Aaron Rodgers. The Packers went 15-1.
Crazy.
They went 15-1.
And they lost to the Giants.
Yep.
I don't remember them going 15-1.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And the Giants smoked them 37-20 in the playoffs.
Really?
Wild.
Giants always get hot at the right time,
I
though.
know.
Those guys over there.
And the Packers would always fall at the wrong time as well.
They did a lot of that falling.
Yeah.
There was always that team that 13-3, 14-2,
15-1.
15-1, and it just didn't get it done.
They won the Super Bowl the year before, and then to follow that up with 15 wins, pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
That is, yeah.
No, they
no hangover.
They were an unbelievable team, and just
Wait.
for whatever reason, they just couldn't get it done always in the playoffs.
That's really impressive. Besides the 1 year when they won it all.
Yeah.
Then after
Fluke-
that,
fluke.
they couldn't get it done again.
They were always a great team, but for whatever reason, not cutting time. I mean, They won a Super Bowl in 2009. Aaron Rodgers only left 2 years ago, and they were always just as good as those teams every year.
Crazy. Just couldn't get over the hump.
Chicago traded Greg Olsen to Carolina for a 3rd-round pick. Tight end you?
What a trade for Carolina.
What a
Worked
trade.
out all right.
Worked out very good.
It worked out really well because actually Greg Olsen wasn't utilized in Chicago the way he should have been
That's just
utilized.
a crazy thing to even think about.
I know, and he was a first rounder for them. They should have figured out a way to utilize him the proper way. And when he got to Carolina, he just exploded on the scene and just became a Pro Bowl player like immediately. So shout out to Greg Olsen for representing tight ends. He one of the founders of Tight End U. I'm actually missing Tight End U currently as we speak right now. Tonight's the first night.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I was there last year. Great time. They do a great job with that. Greg Olsen, Travis Kelce, and
Kittle.
Yeah,
Kit.
George Kittle. They put on a clinic there. I mean,
That's
very
pretty cool.
well organized. You learn a lot, on the field. You learn a lot. In the meeting rooms, you learn a lot. And it's also a good time outside of the meeting rooms and off the field as well, just getting together all the guys. So shout out to them for, doing it big with Tight End U.
Tight end you, a guy that everyone talks about being a dominant tight end if he would have played our sport. LeBron James goes out and wins his first NBA championship. Would LeBron probably would have been a monster.
LeBron would have been an absolute monster on the football field. I can kind of see him being like the hybrid F tight end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
So tall. He's 6, what is he,
Yeah,
6'9"?
he's just so tall, but he's got the athleticism to be able to pull off the F position. I don't see him being like a true Y, throwing himself, at defensive ends, 9 techniques, D ends that are like 280, 290. I don't see him doing that, but I see him just, blocking the linebackers, blocking the safeties when needed, but also just dominating in the pass game. I mean, he's a freak of an athlete, and I feel like I really wish he tried out for the NFL. Like, remember there was talk for about
Yes.
3 to 4 years, about 10 years ago, that a couple NFL teams were trying to give him an opportunity. I think Coach Carroll offered him a roster spot up in Seattle. And I just was hoping to see that happen. I just wanted to see his athleticism translate to the football field because I've seen his highlights, his high school highlights, and guy's just an absolute beast.
Beast. I would have been awesome. Would have been awesome, but it never went down.
Damn.
There'll always be the folklore and the talks about it. Denver Broncos, Jack, set the stage
Let's
for the
run.
2011 Denver Broncos. Let's get this thing going.
These 8-8 Broncos, first year of the John Fox era, first year with Elway as the EVP of football operations. This was Von Miller's rookie year, Julius Thomas's rookie year, and this was the year of Tim Tebow. Started out with Kyle Orton, 1-4, halfway through the Week 5 game. They bench Orton, bring in Tebow. The rest is history. He goes out there and wins 7 of 8 games, gets them into the playoffs, and his Tebowing takes over America. Everyone's kneeling with the hand on the head, doing the Tebow. We got to talk about some other dudes on this team. Willis McGahee,
Monster.
Eric Decker, Demarius Thomas,
DTRP.
Von Miller we mentioned. Got Russ Holstein at center. Lonnie Paxton's on this team.
Lonnie,
Champ Bailey, Brian Dawkins,
lit me up.
and best rushing team in the league this year, which is crazy to think. Willis McGahee almost rushed for 1,200 yards. Tim Tebow ran for about 6 something. Like sneak. I mean, it's 8-8 team, but they got hot.
Also, Eddie Royal.
Eddie Royal. I used to love his game.
Man, Eddie Royal. He was like one of the first traditional slot receivers out there that, set the stage.
He was a monster.
And
Now, what were your thoughts on the Broncos
the Broncos.
as an overall? This is early in our career.
This is very early in our career. It was a while ago. We're talking about 12 years ago. This is 2011, correct?
yeah.
2011. We're in 2024 right now. 13 years ago. Kind of feels like
Math
it
guy.
was yesterday.
Math guy.
Yeah, math guy. Thank you. Kind of feels like it was yesterday in a way, but it also feels like it was like 3 decades as well. Just overall, the Broncos, we knew they were like a wild card team. You didn't know what you were going to get with them. They were jokers in a way.
Yep.
You weren't sure if they're going to come out as the Royal Flush team or if they're going to come out with 2-7 as their hand in poker.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you're going to get. You know, they dominated some teams and then they were awful versus other teams. You didn't know the way Tebow was going to play either. He's kind of a wild card as well. He's kind of a joker as well. And when you have Coach Belichick leading the helm, though, you're going to beat a team like this because Coach Belichick knows how to dominate teams that are all over the place. And I feel like that's why we dominated them in the regular season. And then we absolutely dominated them in the playoffs as well, because I feel like we had the better team, but we also out-coached them to a whole nother level.
Yeah. This was a different Denver team than when Peyton got there. You know, this was still kind of, for our generation, little brothery type team.
This was the Broncos' last game before they got Peyton Manning.
Yeah, this is the last game before they got Peyton Manning. Once they got Peyton Manning, you know, it became like, okay, this is a battle. They beat our ass twice in AFC championships in Denver. You know, we had some epic battles in the regular season. You know, but this specific team was pretty different. But this was the first year of Von Miller. How badass of a player was he, especially early on in his career?
Von Miller is ridiculous, bro. I think he has the fastest get off in all of football on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Fastest get off I've ever played versus. I mean, he's a smaller guy. He's a smaller outside linebacker, defensive end. He could play it all, you know, outside on the edge. And if you got a hold of him, yeah, you could block him. But that's if you got a hold of him. He was so slippery. He was so slimy, and I'm talking like in a good way. I mean, because you couldn't get your hands on him because he was just that quick and agile.
Low to the ground.
Yeah, so low to the ground. And I swear, he was like getting off on the snap count before every offensive player would get off on the snap count. Just that's how talented he was, you know, to be able to get off the ball. Because
of Von Miller and his get off, we actually had to introduce double Denver, which was the silent count, this on-2 silent count for when we were playing in away games in like a stadium where you couldn't hear. A lot of the things usually silent one, we had to put in a double Denver because he wasn't just like getting off the ball. He was reading shit while he was getting off the ball. That's what made him that good. Let's break down the Pats.
Let's get into these Pats. 13-3. Incredible offense this year, led by Billy O. Rob's second season, Jules' third. Brady's coming off his MVP season. We're exiting long hair Brady era. This is back to the normal Brady cut. Just for all you Brady hair. So that's how you track time out there. The Pats are coming off a 2010 loss in the playoffs to the Jets. That was the can't wait game.
We were 14-2 that year.
Oh my God. So this year, extra fired up. Dedicated this season to Mrs. Kraft, who had passed away in the offseason before this. RIP. This was a team with a lot of dudes. We're talking Kevin Falk, Stephen Ridley, Shane O, Danny Woodhead. Heck of a backfield. Receiving room, Deion Branch, Edelman, Chad Ocho, Cinco.
I wasn't there yet, really.
You were in the receiving. Come on. I saw you getting out there. Come on.
Still a teamer.
Welker was there. Gronk, Hernandez. On the line, you got guys like Matt Light, Logan Mankins,
Woodhead,
Nate Solder. Can't forget
Danny
about
Woodhead. You cannot forget about Woodhead. Shout out to Danny, bro.
He was a stud.
Love that guy.
Gotta shout out Woody. Big Vince on the line. And this was a team, no shade. We love these guys, but 31st ranked defense in the NFL.
Yeah, I was playing defense this year. And Slater, we literally had a game where Slate and I were in the backfield in defense. I was playing nickel. Slate was playing safety. We had guys coming off the field. We were banged up. Yeah, this year was basically like Rob, Wes, Hernandez just tearing up the whole league.
And you got Ninko. Shout out to Ninko. Ninko was balling this year.
Ninko balls in this
I don't want to hate on the defense, man.
Ninko made big time plays when the team needed a lot in his career.
And just a little clarity of Jules on defense. Played 120 defensive snaps in the regular season, 40 in the postseason. Or no, 25 in the postseason.
25.
40 of those were in week 17 of that year. That's crazy.
Who was that against?
That was That was Miami, 27-24. No, Buffalo.
Yeah,
Week 16 was Miami, sorry.
Buffalo. I hit Ryan Fitzpatrick so hard out of bounds. I like literally tried to kill him with a forearm.
How did it feel to be playing defense? I mean, you were a special teamer. You were getting reps on the offensive side of the ball, but you were playing defense as well. You got reps on all three phases of the game, and you were a great player on all three phases of the game as well. You're a great player on the defense side of the ball for never playing defense and just getting thrown in there, making tackles, just lighting guys up. You were really good at just throwing your shoulder at a guy carrying the ball and just making him flip up in the air and tackling him like that. But how did that feel just to be a guy like that?
Well, offense is like so much more preparation, you know, because there's only really like 5 defenses. You know, you got a blitz, you got this. Like in some form of another way, they're going to get to certain areas. It's, you know, they can change it up. Offense, it's just so much more preparation. But because of the situational football I knew, like on third down, you could kind of see what their concepts were going to be. And I knew what receivers hated. So I would just grab for 5 yards as much as I possibly could and try to fuck up their timing. And then you just react, you know? So it was so much more reactive than playing on offense. Offense, you have to like think about this happens, you got to do this, which you have to do that a lot in defense, but like you get to hit someone, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're coming downhill on it. It's not like they're...
And you're not thinking as much on the defensive side of the ball either.
No, they symbolize it for you, you know?
And hold on, what about, I just want to give a shout out to Coach Billy O'Brien as well. He left us after this season to go be the head coach of Penn State. But man, what a guy, man. He had so much juice, so much energy. He was just a great offensive coordinator as well. And he figured out how to just light that fire underneath our ass, man. He knew how to get us going. And he would be a guy that would go in there and get in the middle of the brawl with us and just start throwing haymakers and punches as well. I mean, I love playing for him, and just overall, just shout out to Billy O for that season.
And Boston College.
Love
He's with Boston. I just talked to him today. I went to the team and talked.
Oh, you went to the team today and talked?
I talked with Billy O.
No way. He asked me to come because he was at the Brady roast as well. He said, anytime you're in town, come talk to the team. So how was that?
It was awesome. You know, I've never seen Billy O as a head coach. You know, I only remember him as our offensive coordinator, and you know, he's had a lot of experience of being a head coach, but you know, it was very quick. I mean, I was only talked for 30, 45 minutes, but you know, Billy O.
Wait, 30, 45 minutes?
30 minutes.
You talked to the team for? And you
Here
said
and
that's
there.
quick?
Nah, I mean, we did a Q&A. I had some stuff. He dialed me up on a couple things.
All right.
It was awesome to see him, and Bears was there.
Yep.
You know, so this is a pro BC podcast now because of that.
What was the main emphasis that Coach Billy O'Brien is, you know, harnessing on his players at Boston College?
He asked me to talk about my routine.
Okay.
You know, and just how important routine is for athletes, you know, to get your mind, your body to the highest of preparation so you can go in and perform your best on a game day. So, and basically broke that down.
And talking about routine, that's one thing that the greatest Mr. Brady had to the T. He knew what a routine was, and he had the best routine around. And that's one of the reasons why he was so great. So routine is huge. I mean,
routine is everything.
Routine is everything, especially once you get to the NFL. You know, you got to have a routine. In college, you know, you're young enough to go out, wake up off 3 hours of sleep, go to practice, go to a game, even if you didn't sleep the night before, and ball out for 200 yards still. But when you get to the NFL, you start aging a little bit. A routine is everything if you want to be great, if you want to be the best.
Speaking of routine, Jerod Mayo had a good routine in 2011 being a linebacker of our team. Did you see anything in 2011 that you were like, this guy's going to be a head coach of the Patriots?
Jerod Mayo was just a phenomenon on the football field with lining everyone up, and then also in the meeting rooms as well. He knew where every player needed to be during any situation that occurred on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, he knew how to read offenses. he knew when to call out plays, and he was always correct when he called a play out, or else he was just making the whole defense just aware when that play was going to be called, that they all were looking out for, or what type of run was going to be run, on the offense side of the ball. He was just always alert, and you could always tell that was going to translate into the next phase of his life. So just huge shout out to Jerod Mayo, just showing his coaching abilities even when he was playing, but also when he was playing, that's what made him a better player too, because it's not all about how physical you are on the field, how talented you are. If you know where to be on the football field, that can make you a better player because you're already in position to make the play.
Exactly.
But Jules, you played defense this year. What was your experience like working with him on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I always had to look at Jerod. I knew what I had to do, but I'd always ask to get the approval from Jerod, because if Jerod said that, you knew it was right. So, I mean, he got everyone lined up. He was the man.
Jerod Mayo was the Tom Brady on the defensive side of the ball, getting everyone lined up.
He was. Now, you had 90 catches this year.
I think it was 91.
91.
Or was it 90?
90 plus.
Look it up, Jack. No, I want to know how many exactly. This is crucial, all right? These are my stats. The best year I've ever had. The best year a tight end ever had.
90 on the dot.
90 on the dot.
And you know the stats better than I do.
But that's regular season.
That was regular season.
That was regular season.
Time out. How many runs did I have, Julian?
1.
Yeah. And was it supposed to be a run, or was it an accidental run?
It was an accidental run because we threw it behind the line of scrimmage on a bubble route.
Yes. And what happened on that play?
You scored a touchdown, so it should have been 91 in a tug, but you got the...
And who was a verse?
So it came out as a run.
And who was a verse?
Who was a verse?
It was verse the Indianapolis Colts.
Indianapolis
How do we
Colts.
feel about that?
Yeah, and we all know how we feel about the Colts.
We don't like the Colts.
We just don't like them.
We just
Never lost to them. Never lost to them.
I did. 2009.
Yeah, I wasn't there yet.
You weren't there yet.
So it doesn't count for you yet.
It doesn't count for me
So
yet.
we never lost to
We
them
never lost to them.
since 2010.
So
Suck it.
And how many touchdowns did I have that game?
you had like a lot. Didn't you have 3?
3. I had 3 touchdowns that game too.
17.
It was a 3-banger.
17 on the season. 1 rushing.
Yep. So 18 total touchdowns.
So Robby G, like this
Hold
is
on
your
real quick. What's 8 plus 1?
9,
And how many points the touchdown's worth?
6. Oh, I see what you're getting at. Oh, 6 and 9. We're being silly again over here.
so
You want to know what I was thinking is that if I ever am lucky enough to go into the Patriots Hall of Fame, like, you know how, Brady was lucky enough. I mean, not lucky enough. I mean, was privileged enough to go on 6-12 because he won 6 Super Bowl rings. 12th day is his number. We know why it was 2024 as well. I came up with that theory on the red carpet at his event.
That was incredible.
Not going to bring it back up, but it just was resulted as Bill Belichick's current girlfriend's age, 24. I mean, I had to bring it up. My bad. But I want to go in on June 9th. I think I deserve it. If I'm lucky enough to go in the Patriots Hall of Fame.
2069.
In 2069, we will still be alive as well, right?
I hope.
Just hold off for that long, please. Mr. Kraft will be like 150. just still up there at the podium giving speeches. Yeah.
Hell of a speech.
That would be hell of a speech.
Hell of a speech. Jack, give us the lead up to this game.
The lead up was all Tebowmania. Tebow was sweeping the nation after he hit Julius Thomas on that 75-yard touchdown pass in overtime.
I don't think it was Julius
or
Thomas.
Demarius Thomas.
Demarius Thomas.
Sorry, I get my Thomases mixed up. Thank you, Gronk.
R.I.P.
AKA the miracle in Mile High Miracle. The Patriots entered on an 8-game winning streak. Denver still made the playoffs, even though they lost 3 in a row leading up to the playoffs. This was a rematch of that Week 13 game where we beat that ass 41-23 at Mile High. And New England was out for blood. We hadn't won a playoff game since 2007. Needed a win.
Did anyone care about Tebowmania in the preparation at all? Not maybe the storylines, but actually preparing for him in the facility?
like the actual Tebowmania.
Yeah, no one like is just like, who gives a shit?
Not really.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, who gives a shit? Let's end this shit.
Let's go shut this guy up.
Yeah, let's go shut this guy down. And we absolutely ruined Tebowmania's career. After that, they traded for Peyton Manning. I think that was his last game he started. I mean, Tebowmania was great, though. I mean,
It's like it
I
was like
loved
Linsanity.
yeah, it was
time.
like Linsanity.
Very good comment.
But we weren't cool with it because Tebowmania was coming into our house and we wanted to shut that shit down. And that's what we did.
Real
we-
quick.
And we all know Tom Brady's the real Jesus Christ here.
Yes, exactly.
All praise.
I'm just
Exactly. You got that right. And you don't even believe in Jesus. You're Jewish.
He
right?
was too.
Yeah.
He was too.
Who was?
Jesus.
Yeah, he was Jewish.
So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
Oh my God. Should we run through this game real quick?
Yeah.
This game, oh my God, it was a chilly night in Foxborough, 8 degrees, wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. And from the jump, it was clear the Pats were going to dominate. First drive, 80 yards, 5 plays, huge Hernandez run, get up 7-0. Then the Ninko strip sack when it looks like Denver's got a little life, come back down. In the rest of the first half, Gronk, 3 TDs. Brady throws for 5 in the first half. Up at the half, 35-7. Pretty much over.
Yeah, you know, we remember we were in that NASCAR a lot. We were in NASCAR with like 2 tight ends, 3 receivers. And that's why we'd bring Hernandez into the backfield and use him as a running back, because that was our group. And people, when you have that many pass catchers on the field, they're in like a lighter personnel group for the defense. So they were using a lot of like, do we go into 11? If we go into 12, they're spread out and we could just get in this matchup problem. And it was just unfair from that point on.
Crazy.
You know, you got Gronk, if you're not doubling Gronk, he's run down the seam, catching against too high. You know, you had Hernandez in the backfield. They run the too high to try to stop the seam. We give it to Hernandez. You got a light box. He gets 40 yards. I mean, this was the scariest moment for the league when this started going.
And one of the hardest offenses to stop are offenses that are prolific at running a high pace offense.
Yeah,
like
no huddle.
NASCAR, no huddle offenses. And the offenses that are doing it at an efficient rate and doing everything that they need to, that they're just going out there and just hitting everything effortlessly on the no huddle offense. Those are the hardest offenses to defend, I feel like, for defenses. And then on top of it, the hardest offenses to defend as well are 2 tight end personnel groups where each tight end is legit that are out on the field. So we had 2 tight end personnel out there running no huddle. That's unstoppable. That's why we're going down the field in 5 plays and scoring just like that.
Yeah.
So your first touchdown here, in the corner, the double grab, was your first touchdown in the playoffs?
Yes, my first playoff touchdown of my career, correct.
Can you walk us
Amazing
through that?
concentration.
Yeah, so it's a flag route. That's actually my favorite route.
What did Tom tell you earlier in this episode?
He told me he's never going to throw me the ball again. But that was my rookie year. So
But this proving the point
Yes.
once, if you tell Gronk something one time, he will always do it.
well, this time I think he told me that like 4 times before, and I think that's why he finally said he's not going to throw me the ball anymore, because I finally had to truly understand it, which I got it, but he didn't understand like that guy was so far outside of me that I had to kind of go inside him. But Tom being Tom, he don't give a shit.
He doesn't care.
He wants you to get outside no matter what. But this is a case where, I did learn, and here's a flag route. And I love flag routes. That's my favorite route because I'm huge. I'm massive. I'm 265 pounds, huge legs. I'm not a guy that my favorite route is, hey, I'm going to run 10 yards, stop on a dime, and then do an in cut. Like, I'm not a guy that can just maintain my speed just out of cuts like that. I mean, I love to just plant my foot when I'm already running full speed, kind of push off of it to give me a turbo boost and go. And that's why I love the flag. I get the turbo boost when I plant my foot to go at the 45-degree angle.
R2.
And boom, ran a flag route. Tom put it out there a little bit. I ran right by the defender. It was zone coverage, right by the safety. He put it out there. I kind of like tipped it towards me a little bit, got my hands cuffed underneath the ball and came down and secured it and hit the ground. And that's when there were big controversies of if it's a catch or not when you're going down and hitting the ground. But you can tell on the film, I grabbed that ball underneath. It was kind of like
your hand
catch
was under
in the Super Bowl versus Atlanta, but a little bit different style. And my hand was under, and when I hit the ground, the ball didn't move, and that's why it was a catch and a touchdown.
I remember that. Remember we get the pictures after games, wins in the hallways? I remember that being on there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
too. I still have it. I think I got that picture.
do you remember the scuffle after one of the with
After hold on. After what play, Jack?
Any game that ends on a Brady Pooch punt
yeah?
and then it has a scuffle, it's my
Do you
kind of
remember
game.
that Pooch punt we did?
I do. And
Von Miller?
Von Miller is the one who
3 minutes left
started
in the
the
game.
brawl. He did not like that.
Who did he hit?
He's going up against
We were
Conley and
trolling
Light.
them with the Pooch
Yes.
Pooch punt.
Yeah.
Trolling them.
Nice little coffin corner by Tommy. Jules and Slate down there to down it.
Was that on third down?
It was third and
Third and long.
Like
Because that
18.
was any time we would have it
Yes.
called. Is it a third and long? So and they had a dynamic returner, which they had didn't they have a good returner?
They had someone. That was pretty decent.
And there's also a great moment in this game from the broadcast where on Welker's first touchdown, Phil Simms, friend of the show, shows they're double teaming Julian. He's like, they're double teaming Edelman. Why would they do that?
It was true at this point. And Wes caught the touchdown. They probably thought I was Wes.
Yeah, that is probably what happened. Great decoy.
Oh
The
my
best
god!
in the game that year.
I was decoying the first play of the game when they hit you on that ghost out. I'm screaming up the field, decoy.
But to put a bow on this game, that 35-7 halftime score turned into a 45-10 final score. And just to put it into perspective, Tim Tebow, 9 for 26, 136 yards. Gronk, 10 receptions, 145 yards, 3 tutties, more receptions than Tebow had completions.
And more yards.
And more yards by a long shot. Tommy, 26 of 34, 353 yards, 6 TDs.
6 touchdowns in a
One
playoff game.
Really
One
pick.
bad interception,
Yeah.
but we're not going to talk about that.
And
Third, six,
5
you get one.
touchdown passes in the first half.
Insane.
Insane.
I was at this game. It was
And
electric.
shout out to the D sacking Tebow 5 times and ending Tebowmania.
I got a little story too. So I had 3 touchdowns in the first half. I'm pretty sure they were all in the first half, right? I had 2 already. And Ryan Mallett, rest in peace.
RIP.
He came up to me on the sidelines and he goes, "You're going to have 3 tugs. There's no doubt about it." He
remember
goes,
that.
And when you have your third, shoot that shit in for a 3-pointer after you spike it. So in honor of Ryan Mallett, I spiked that ball. I went like that I went like that, like the 3-point shot, like the NBA players who shot it, and then you know how they walk away with the 3 like that? Yeah, that's right. I hit the 3-pointer
Oh my gosh.
in this game.
The
3 TD 3-pointer.
3 TD for the TE.
Yes. So
Number of the day on this episode is 3, baby.
Aftermath.
All right, I'll run through this real quick. We would go on to beat Baltimore in the AFC Championship on that Billy Cundiff 32-yard missed field goal that would have tied it up with 15 seconds left.
Would have tied it up.
Would have
People
tied it
think
up.
that like
Yeah, right.
they were winning.
No,
Would have tied it up.
Would have tied it up. Denver would finish the season 9-9 if you count their playoffs. And the Patriots would go on to lose Super Bowl 46 to the New York Giants.
Because Rob got
And Rob was injured in that
got
AFC
hurt against-
championship.
the Baltimore Ravens
Yeah.
because of that hip drop tackle.
yeah, they hip drop tackled
Yep.
me. I was up the seam, caught the pass up the seam. I think it was about a third quarter. He hip drop tackled me. It was Bernard Pollard. Yeah, Pollard, who's kind of like the Patriot killer.
Dirty player
Who else did he hit?
He took out Tom's knee.
when he was on the Chiefs.
Yep.
I think he messed up Welker as well in a way. I forgot that injury. He was kind of the Patriot killer. He was a dirty player, I feel like, at that time. You know, there's a lot of them back in the day, though, when the rules were kind of, you know,
That's
whatever. You can do like whatever out there as a defensive
the
player.
hip drop is bull.
But I ain't gonna say it was a dirty play at all. It was a proper tackle, and he just ended up landing on my ankle when I fell down, and my ankle basically twisted
Snapped.
the other way and snapped. It was a high ankle sprain. disappointing, but me being me, went in the locker room, shoot me up. I don't care. I'm going back out there. They taped up my ankle. Like that thing was not moving. It was basically in a cast now. I shoved it back in my cleat, barely fit into the cleat now. And I went back out there and finished the game as well. I think I played the final 2 drives. I think we scored that touchdown to put us ahead. I think Tom jumped over. It was a quarterback sneak, and he jumped over, and leaned the ball over the end zone for the score. And man, and I feel like it kind of changed the trajectory of the Super Bowl game with my injury. And it actually made my first Super Bowl experience miserable as well.
Yeah.
Just all talk about my ankle, nothing about the Super Bowl. I couldn't practice.
Where was that Super Bowl?
Where was it?
Where was that Super Bowl?
It was in Indianapolis.
Boo. We hate Indy.
Yeah, we hate Indy. Maybe that's why we didn't win that one, because we just hated it. But we didn't even hate Indy yet. It was kind of like after this year we started hating Indy.
There was always the Indy Patriot rivalry before we got there.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a rivalry while we were there. But that's where that hate developed.
Mm-hmm. But it sure did.
Any leftovers, Jackie?
One quick couple things to clean up here. Gronk broke Stanley Morgan's record in a homecoming game against the Bills in 2016 on a 53-yard touchdown catch.
I mean, when you score that many touchdowns, you kind of get all your touchdowns confused. I thought it was versus the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Different homecoming game.
I was wrong.
Hey, all good.
Hey, yeah, but you're right. I knew it was a homecoming game for me because I'm from Buffalo, but I played 1 year in high school in Pittsburgh, so that kind of counts. But Stanley Morgan.
Shout out Stanley Morgan. That touchdown, coincidentally, was the 69th of Rob's career. 68 receiving, and we talked about the 1 rushing.
I remember. Did you say something about that to the media?
Yeah, I said something to Mike Reese, Big Piece. Sorry. That's his nickname, if you guys didn't know that. He loves Mike it Reese as well. I mean, I just saw him on the red carpet at the Brady event last week, and we always hit it off. I love Mike Reese. He's the best. And I said something to him. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was a classic.
Classic. Instant classic. Let's name the game. The Gronk 316 game, Tom versus Tim, Tebow time ends, the end of Tebowmania, the Broncos beatdown, Brady's beatdown.
It's not Brady's beatdown. We can axe that one out. The Bronco beatdown, I mean, it sure was, but we can axe that one out as well.
The T-Bowl? No.
Boo.
Boo.
Who even recommended that? Was that a guy named Kurt?
No, it was. I think it was a soft.
That's why we keep.
It was a soft. A soft is soft.
Soft.
You don't let him freaking.
I like
comment.
Tom versus Tim. It's like a play on words with Tom versus time.
Oh. So I got another story as well before this wraps up. So I was at an appearance. 22-year-old Rob. I think it was after this season. And you know me, I was out of control. And I was out of college. And one of the questions in the stands was Mary F. Kill, a college student asked me. It was at the University of Rhode Island, a great college.
URI,
great college town.
Shout
great
out.
Party school. You probably been there 1 or 2 times.
Never
Jules.
been.
Me neither, just for this appearance. I never been to a bar there, but everyone was telling me I have to go to the bars there, but just never been. And they asked me, Mary F. Kill, I think one of them was Bill. I forgot who the other one. And the third one was Tebow. And right when they said Tebow, I just said I would F Tebow and take his virginity. And let me tell you, I got a $10,000 fine for that comment. And I was just answering someone's question in the stands.
Who fined you?
That asked me. The NFL fined me. I forgot because you were, what is it when you...
conduct detrimental?
Yeah, conduct detrimental. It was towards another player for kind of like, I don't know, what's that called? Going after him?
I don't know.
I just thought I was being awesome. Like I wasn't even going after him. I just thought it was just a great answer right on the moment. Had the place in tears. The place erupted. You know, I lost like $4,000 because I was thinking I was getting paid like $6,000 for the appearance or something. and I got fined 10. And then in honor of that as well, Barstool came out with some shirts. Obviously, Barstool comes out with some shirts. I mean, that's Barstool. They're always on top of their game with their shirts. And I have the shirt they came out with underneath.
What is it?
This Built Basic shirt that I have on.
Let's see it. Take
This
it
Built
off.
Basic shirt, by the way, is my collection. So if you guys want to be wearing my collection, go to Built.
Bill Basics. What is it? What is the shirt?
The shirt
Reveal.
is Gronk, Tebow, 2013 Slay and Pray. Let's go.
Sure.
Let's go, baby.
So
Let's go.
Is this the slay and pray game?
So this is the Slay and Pray game.
Slay and pray game.
I love it. All right, let's score it.
Stakes 1 to 10. Gronk. What are the stakes of this game?
I mean, it's a playoff game. You win or go home. So the stakes are an 8.
I would say we were so heavily, we were so much higher, better than them. Probably like a 7.5.
Jack had an 8.4. I had a 7.9. Star power.
Star power 1 to 10.
Man, Tebowmania was at its all-time high. I think it was.
You
at
got fined because of it.
I think this was right after. It was that off season, but Tebowmania all-time high. I think it was even like higher star power for Tebow when he was even in college, because he just threw that touchdown versus the Steelers in overtime to get them to this game. And then Brady, obviously, myself having the breakout season, Welker. All-purpose Julian, who was kind of a no-name at the moment,
No name.
So I would say 9. Star power was a 9.
I'll match Rob.
9.
Rob 9.
Jack had 7.9. I had a 8.2.
Gameplay of the game, Rob.
What does that mean?
So how'd the game went?
Oh, I mean,
Was it a tight game? Was it
no,
not?
Not at all. That's a 3.
3.
That's a 3.
I'm going with a 3.5.
It was over in the
3.5.
first quarter.
Jack had a 7.2. I had a 5.6.
The name of the game, the Slay and Pray name.
Well, what would Barstool rate this game? A 6.9.
I'll go 6.7.
6. Jack had a 5.8. I had a 6.66.
What does it go?
Hold on. Oh, fuck. Whatever.
What?
I was going to have Rob do it, but there's a lot. There's too many numbers here. It's a 7, even 7.
What should it be?
An even 7. All right, we got to adjust one of the numbers. Put the star power for me as 8.7. Maybe that will knock it down 1. Because that's my number. You get it?
Oh,
You
I
get
like
it?
that.
8.7.
Leah, how do we... At 6.9.
Oh,
Wow.
Mission accomplished.
What a math magician.
Wow. I
Oh.
told you I'm a math magician.
You see that? Decimals.
I'm a scientist.
Decimals, okay.
Even decimals now I can handle.
Okay, and that puts us right after right ahead of the 2019 Western Conference semifinals, Warriors versus Rockets, and right behind the 21-31 1995 Orioles versus Angels, the Cal Ripken Iron Man game.
That's about right.
Behind it,
I
yeah.
feel like it belongs right around there. Yeah, we good.
Man, that was awesome. Always, the best
Always.
guest. Always number 3,
Number
3-time
the trilogy.
trilogy.
For a reason.
I had Rob on. Now let's hit a couple hotlines with old Gronk. Remember, that number is 424-291-2290. Let's hear them.
Hey, yo, what up? My name's Tyler, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. And, Julian, I got a lot of respect for you, man. The way you play the game, it's freaking gangster. I'm watching your episode with Gronk right now, and let me just say, I want to see a fight between you and Gronk. Jiu-Jitsu's all about the smaller guy, and I really, really think you could take him. I want to see it happen. I want to call you the bearded wonder. Throw on a gi, go no gi, it doesn't matter. I want to see you guys get after it. Step on the mats and see who's boss.
So what's the question?
What's the question?
Who would win in a fight?
Oh, that's the question. I just love how he started it off. His name's Tyler, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
Brown belt.
Don't go there, Rob. We're trying to get him on the show. Roast mode over.
No roast mode.
All right. All right. I was just saying.
You got to turn the page.
Man, I mean, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't even know, but Julian is an absolute dog. I can tell you this. There are plenty of people out there that are bigger than Julian, and I guarantee Julian would whoop their ass in the dog.
I like that.
I like thinking of you guys as a tag team duo, not adversaries.
Yeah, Gronk would kill me.
Next. All right, let's move on here to our next question. The hotline does accept text messages, so we got a hotline text that came in. Hey, this is Jace Potter, and my question is for Jules and Gronk. Did Gronk ever get in trouble for denting the Super Bowl trophy with the baseball? That is from Jace Potter, a listener.
No,
I never got into trouble.
Nice.
No, never have. It's kind of like in the Hall of Fame now, like the dent. It's like legendary.
I have the ball.
But no, we never got in trouble. If anything, it just grew our.
They loved it.
Just grew our legendariness.
Well, everyone was terrified of how Mr. Kraft would react, like all the people that worked for him. But then it was like he didn't care. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's great." Yeah.
Stacey James, I mean, he almost had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack.
Heart attack.
With the Vince Lombardi, because they make a new one every year, it doesn't have some of that like oral history like the Stanley Cup does, but that and being in the Hall of Fame with the dent, it has that like legend to it. That it's awesome.
We appreciate the small jab to our trophy that you did to try to sneak in.
Anytime
that's such a
anytime
Kyler.
Hockey can get in there, you got to get it in there.
All right, last question.
one.
Jules, Gronk, thank you guys both for your service. My question is this. If the two of you had to go into business together and it couldn't have anything to do with sports whatsoever, what would that business be and what would your roles be?
Circus.
That's one. Podcasting.
Yeah, but
That'd
can't be
number two.
anything to do with sports.
You could do like a food podcast.
And then, and then I would say, I think we would be really good on OnlyFans. Yeah. I feel like
Together?
together.
Link in bio.
Link in
bio.
Duo to do it together. Never show the junk. Never ever show it. Never ever. You can't be the one that shows the junk. But I'm pretty sure I looked it up the other day because someone recommended me to get on OnlyFans, and I looked up what dudes are on OnlyFans and how much they're making a month. And it said, this is what it said on Google, is that Tyga is making $80 million a month. 40 million, I think, a month from OnlyFans.
From OnlyFans?
Type it in right now, Jack.
check that.
It was some outrageous number to where just saying that just give me a little spark to maybe start a business with Jules.
It says Tyga has, for $20 a month to subscribe, they estimated here he's made $20 million so far off his OnlyFans total.
Oh, total.
Is what I'm saying. He's
Someone
six-
said he was making 20 mil a month or 40 or something. They
me
Googled
double
it right in
check.
front of me, but
Yeah.
I was only wrong on that one.
Hey,
20
still
mil
a
is not
crazy
nothing.
amount.
We could get 40.
Yeah, we can get about 20 to 40.
Gronk, we miss anything with this episode?
Nah.
I'll tell you one thing. This is out of total respect for Tebow, why we picked this game. You know, like, we're ragging on him, but it was pretty extraordinary to see what he did to the league with what he had in his artillery of how he played the game. Like, he really, it was like he was possessed by something higher than whatever to go on the run that they had. I mean, no one wanted him in there, even at his own organization. And he fought, and he had that 8-game winning streak, and it was awesome. So I hope no one takes it the wrong way. It's just when you...
Absolutely not. You can't take that the wrong way. And actually, a huge shout out to Tebow because Kyle Orton was the starting quarterback that year. And he was like 2-6 or something. Then Tebow took over.
Yeah.
And he got that team to the playoffs.
To the playoffs.
I mean, just getting your team to a playoffs is a successful year. And that's what Tebow did. It was just that our team was just way too good and way too talented just overall for the Denver Broncos.
Because I know I've been hitting Tebow a bunch in this podcast, and they told me I couldn't say anything about circumcisions, so I went the whole thing without saying anything about a circumcision till right now. So we love you, Tebow, and then we got to get you on Games with Names so you could
How about some Florida?
pump up some Florida.
Oh, like a national championship game or something.
Robby G, you want to plug anything? Ralphie, Camille,
We already plugged Camille. She was on the cover of
Maxim.
last month. And Ralphie, I mean, he's just a superstar. He was actually supposed to make it and make his first appearance on Games with Names today. But
We had a doggy bag for him.
yes, but you know,
Sometimes
plans happen. You know,
situations got to change.
Schedules flip.
You got to adjust through
Yes.
adjustments.
And Ralphie did not make it today, but he will make it one day on Games with Names.
We can't wait. We cannot wait. Well, what a game. Thanks again to Rob. That's been another episode of Games with Names. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Comment a game you want us to do. And remember
Rate and review.
to follow Games with Names on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. Leave a message on the old hotline. You never know who's going to be in the studio to hear these questions. Remember that number is 424-291-2290. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.